Hello everyone, my name is Shenyuan Hu. I'm the founder of Joint Commonwealth Fund, JCF. So today in JCF Weekly, we'll talk about how to safely invest in crypto and how to evaluate if a crypto is worth investing. Okay, so many of you probably know that Bitcoin has just recently rise up 20% from about 1 to 4,000 US dollar to 1 to over 5,000 US dollars, and possibly still on the rise. So rumor has that Warren Buffett has been starting to invest in cryptocurrencies. I mean, Buffett, the richest, one of the richest men in the world. He used to criticize about Bitcoin, but now he's also bought his first Bitcoin recently. So whether this will change the tide a bit or increase confidence, that's something for us to observe. But basically, of course, one natural question is, if this is something worth investing, how can we actually, safely invest? This goes back, actually, we have to first define what safe is, or what does it mean to be a safe crypto. Well, the definition I like to use is the one that Warren Buffett, or more accurately, his mentor, basically Graham, who wrote the book Intelligent Investor, and how they define a sound intelligent investment. So basically, the central rule of investing, according to Graham, which is Warren Buffett's mentor and teacher, is that never lose money. If you put your money into an investment and you lose it sometime later, then it's not really an investment. Okay, and if you want to buy low, sell high, that is called speculating, because you're trying to predict the market prices. So according to this definition, most technical analysis, or like traders kind of people who are in the stock market, according to this definition, they are doing speculation. Of course, I mean, speculation is not necessarily a bad thing. You can earn wealth, become rich with speculation as well. And some people do that. Although you have to understand which type of person you are, because to become a trader, you will likely have to spend a lot of time, watching the market fluctuations closely. So, like you might have to spend many hours a day and just to keep track of the market current prices. And that can, you may not be able to sleep well at night, which is something, I certainly would like to have. So what happens is, if you want to, so that's the definition I like to use for safe. Now, so if according to this definition, what might be, safe cryptos for one to invest? If one doesn't have so much time and, you want to get into cryptocurrency, but you also would like to keep your daily life intact, on track. One of the things that you can do is probably just to use some basic analysis to see whether a crypto fits certain criteria. And this is something I learned from James Altucher, which I also like, worth recommended. It's worth recommending checking his articles and his views out, because I believe that he's one quite well versed and deep into the nature and the intrinsic values of cryptos. And in fact, he's been a hedge fund manager for 20 years and also started 20 companies, and also wrote the book about Warren Buffett's value investing principles, which, according to Warren Buffett, captured his ideas, his investments principles well. So, this guy probably knows something a bit or two about real crypto investments. And what happens is, according to James, different cryptos should be evaluated based on its use case, which means that you have to understand what is a particular use case for a cryptocurrency. For example, like Bitcoin. Bitcoin, although it might have originally been designed as a currency, but now it's more like, digital gold. It serves more like the purpose of being the gold in, or the US dollar, okay, as a, a global currency in the world. You can look at this from just one perspective. There's about 2,000 various kind of cryptocurrencies out there now. You may not be able to buy them with US dollar or euro necessarily, but you can definitely buy all of them using Bitcoin. Okay, so what happens, what this means is that Bitcoin is already become the de facto, baseline currency for all the crypto out there. And if you do believe that blockchains and related these cryptos or tokens will be on the rise, their usage, their dominance, their application will become quite common in the future, then one of the things you can be sure is that in order to buy and trade and use these various kind of cryptos, you will need Bitcoin. So that's actually the most, I believe, most fundamental and basic use case for Bitcoins. And it already served this, this sort of like a foundational currency for trading other types of cryptos. So other cryptos similar to its use, like Bitcoin Cash or like the other forks of Bitcoin, in the long term, they likely will lose out their values. Okay, so this is something important to discern. So one other example is Ethereum. Ethereum has been sort of the largest and mostly used crypto to build what's called smart contracts. So in the use case of having smart contract, which is basically, simply put, additional logic that could execute some predefined rules by humans by the blockchain system, so that you can have some automatic guarantees of a certain transaction. So these kind of smart contracts, although there are many other contenders like EOS and other types, so whatever that will come up to be the top crypto in the smart contract use case likely will retain and have its value and will not fade away. So these are, if a crypto is, like the top three, among the top three within a certain use case, like there are other use cases such as privacy coins, okay, privacy cryptos, like, Zero Cash. Like Monero, and also Zero Cash, Zcash, sorry. And these are in the privacy use case. So if you have these kind of other kinds of use cases, just make sure you pick among the top three and maybe even the top one for that use case, and you should be relatively safe. Now, which ones are actually the safe ones? Now that's the next question. For that, you do have to do some investigations and studies by yourself, and you can but there are some criteria you can use for the judgment. For example, basically you have to understand a cryptocurrency is simply an instrument, a tool for people to exchange values. So what this means is that if there are enough people who are using it, believing it, and forming a community behind it, then likely it will not fade away. Okay, so strong community, strong developer, those are the key areas to see if a crypto is, safe and worth long-term investments. Okay, so that's it for this week's JCF Weekly. If you like us, please go on to our Facebook page or subscribe our YouTube channel, and I'll see you next week.